Very good evening and welcome all of you to this next action plan session. Today we'll sit and plan for tomorrow's trading, and we will start with this dynamic system, the level 2 trading method. Now you're looking at Nifty price movement. As you all know that we are holding on to the long positions in Nifty, and since there is no trend edge point on top, if the price manages to come down, we will use a range 4 or speed signal, whichever is lowest. So we will reduce 0.5% from there, and you can see that range 4 is at 11,395 and speed signal is at 11,360. So if you can calculate 0.5% of it, it comes out to be almost 57 points. So it is 11,303. So if the price of Nifty trades below 11,303, that is when we can exit long and get into a short trade tomorrow. But until then, we will continue to hold our long positions because it is, as of now, it is in a very clear uptrend. So this is about Nifty. Let us check what is happening in Bank Nifty the same way. Sorry, this is not Bank Nifty. So even in Bank Nifty, you can see that there was some good up movement today, but then in spite of the up movement, there was there was a weekly caution. Now that is as per the dynamic live. But anyways, in dynamic system level 2 trading method, there is no trend edge point on top. So we will use the range 4 or speed signal, whichever is lowest. So range 4 is 22,595 and speed signal is 22,258. So speed signal is the lowest. So let us calculate 0.5% on it. It comes out to be 112 points. When we reduce it, it comes out to be 22,146. So if the price of Bank Nifty trades below 22,146, that is when we will exit long and get into a short trade. But until then, we can continue to hold on to our long position. Anyone who has taken a call option as per dynamic system in Bank Nifty, and I'm sure you must have shifted over once again today because there was a DMBOTS on top, and this is what is happening in Bank Nifty and Nifty. Now let us go check the same Nifty Bank Nifty as per dynamic live, the level 2 trading, the Dowmantic method. So this is dynamic live, and in dynamic live, you can see here the action information is still telling us to hold call option. We are holding on to it. Now, there was a dynamic caution on top wherein we would have already secured our profit. But anyways, after securing, we are still holding. We will wait until it very clearly tells us to exit the call option. If the price manages to go up once again at around the 23,230 ranges, we have a weekly trend on top. So if there is a good opportunity, you can definitely think about a shift over to secure your profits. But if in case the price continues to come down, and if the action information tells you to buy a put option, then since intraday 3 long and intra-week long, they both are still in buy, you must check the Tenkai signal to decide whether to do this trade or not to do this trade. So this is about Bank Nifty. Let us check what's happening in Nifty. Now here is Nifty. Even in Nifty, you can see here the action is still telling us to hold call option. But today, in spite of the price coming down, once intraday 3 speed signal gave us a sell, the action information did not tell us to exit call option. The reason being, it has given us a sell with a long signal edge point at the bottom. So that is the reason we are still holding on to the call option. But if the price manages to go up, and if there is any major zigzag caution on top, while the intraday 3 speed signal is still in sell, then definitely it is going to tell us to exit call and buy a put option. So until it tells us to do so, we will have to wait. But if the price continues to go up, and if there is any new further dynamic caution or a DMBOTS, then don't forget to shift over. Okay, so this is about Nifty and Bank Nifty as per the Dowmantic method level 2. Now before we move on to dynamic superpower trading method, if anyone has any questions or doubts within this, you can ask me now. If there are no doubts, then please do text me saying that there are no doubts. And kindly make sure that this session is a bit interactive so that you all participate along with me. And now the more you participate, the more stronger you get as far as your trading is concerned, and you will not do any mistakes while trading. How about all others? All right, looks like there are no more doubts. So let us move on to. All right, Mr. Naresh is new to this. Yes, you can definitely watch it, Mr. Naresh. You can attend a few more sessions if you want until you gain some confidence. So since there are no doubts from any of our members, now let us move on to dynamic superpower trading method for Nifty and Bank Nifty. Now, once we finish this, then we can, look at your doubts or any of your favorite stock that you want to check. So this is Nifty. Now in Nifty, as you know that the price has been coming down from a major weekly caution on top. You can see here the strength is at C8 and C13 NDC. There is a DMB which is also today, and there is a C3 NMC. The pressure is building big time on top. But anyways, we were waiting for a better confirmation. So let us see if intraday one long signal gave us a sell first. Yes, so intraday long signal has also given us a sell here. But I think both intraday one long signal and intraday 3-speed signal both have managed to give us a sell signal almost at the same time. But we would have definitely got into a short trade. Now, after getting into a short trade, now since there is a long signal edge point in intraday 3 in Nifty, we could have exited short and got into a long once again, just because, as I told you, the long-term direction of Nifty is still up. So until the intra-week long signal gives a sell, we can keep doing this. So after getting into a long trade, now the price has started going up. The intraday 3-speed signal is still in sell. So the point here is, if any zigzag caution or edge point appears on top, then we can definitely think about exiting long and getting into a short trade. So let us check what is happening in the spread view. In spread view, as you can see, there is no zigzag, there is no long signal edge point. But to be on the sharp side now, when I looked at this intraday one chart, now that intraday one long signal had already given us a sell, and as the price moved up, intraday one long signal edge point has come. Now this is a point wherein I can definitely think about exiting long and getting into a short trade, because the risk involved at this point is very less. And there is a supporting factor that we have a weekly caution and a straddle with the C13 strength. So we can definitely exit long and get into a short trade. But at least if you have a second thought, then at least whatever long position that you have taken, you can think about exiting the long at this point. And if you have taken a short position, the only risk that you're going to take here is, if the price manages to go up, then wait for intraday one long signal to give you a buy without any caution. So if that happens, that's when you can exit short and get back into a long. But until then, we can hold on to short position. Now, if I were trading in Nifty, then I would have definitely done this. I would have exited long and got into a short trade, knowing that the risk involved in the short is very less, and it is also supported by the major weekly caution on top. So now once I have taken a short position, now as the price starts coming down, and if it comes closer to this intraday 3 long signal edge point, or closer to the low that it has made today, and if there is once again any zigzag preparation or anything, then I will definitely think about exiting the short once again and getting back into long trade. So that can be done. But if the price manages to go down even further, and if intra-week long signal also gives a sell, then definitely the focus will be towards the short positions. And later, if any dynamic system caution appears at the bottom, don't take any action for sharp confirmations. You can shift over, you can secure your profits for sure, but wait for the better confirmation to exit short and get into a long trade. So this is for Nifty. Let us check what's happening in Bank Nifty. Now in Bank Nifty, once again, even in Bank Nifty, we have a weekly caution on top with a C2 strength here. We also have a DMBOTS, daily DMBOTS on top. So there is pressure. It almost came very close to the weekly trend edge point. Now weekly trend was at 23,230, and I'm sure today it has made a high of 23,180 ranges. So it has come very close. So I will anyhow wait for the better confirmation. So as I waited, today when the price started coming down just before the market closed, now this intraday one long signal did give us a sell. Okay, now since it gave us a sell, now as it was giving a sell at the same time, intraday 3, if you have checked intraday 3 in the spread view, there was a zigzag preparation. So since there was a zigzag preparation in intraday 3, this was the zigzag caution that I'm talking about. So I would have thought about waiting for this intraday 3 speed signal itself to give me a sell. So since I waited, so this opportunity was not there, and after this price moved up. Now as the price moved up, once again in intraday 1, there is a long signal edge point. Now this long signal edge point here is also supported by a weekly caution on top. Now this is one risk that I can take, that is definitely to exit a long position and get into a short trade, because the short position is supported by a weekly caution on top. And above that, if it goes up, then once the intraday one long signal gives me a buyback, then I can obviously get into a long trade quickly. And that is the reason I would have done that. If you have not done this, there is absolutely no problem. You can wait tomorrow. Once intraday 3 speed signal gives you a sell, that's when you can exit long and get into a short position. So anyways, there's the plan. So as of now, if you are holding a long position, wait for intraday 3 speed. Now after it gives you a sell, as the price starts coming down, if it reaches a long signal edge point either in intraday 3 or in intra-week, we can think about a short exit and getting into a long trade. If you have any doubts of getting into a long trade, there is no problem. At least you can exit the short, and later if the price manages to go up, and once intraday 3 speed signal gives us a buy once again without any doubts, then you can obviously get back into long trade. So there won't be any confusion if you can do that. So that is a plan. But once this intra-week long signal, or as I told you yesterday, if the price manages to reach the weekly speed trend at 23,230 ranges, and from there as it starts coming down, and if it gives me opportunity to buy a put option or take a short, and if it reaches any long signal edge point, then I will shift over the put option and hold the put option for a better confirmation. I will not exit and reverse there, because from the top the pressure will pile up, and even if it comes down to reach any dynamic caution at the bottom, either a C1D or a C1 C2 caution at the bottom, then also I will wait for a better confirmation, because it is coming down from a weekly caution on top. Okay, so this is the plan for Bank Nifty. Yes, there is one very interesting question Rohan has asked here, that if intraday one long signal gives a buy, and after it gives a buy, as the price moves up, if there is any zigzag caution on top here, either in intraday 3 or in intra-week, observe this. I am looking only at intraday 3 or intra-week for these zigzag cautions. Now, if that happens, and if this previous high, that is today's high, is still not crossed, then I can definitely think about getting into a short trade, because there is a weekly caution on top which will add pressure to take a short. But if it crosses today's high, then in such a case I will not take action for any zigzag on top. I will rather wait for a better confirmation itself. Clear, Rohan? All right, so this is all about the dynamic superpower trading in both the Nifty and Bank Nifty. If anyone has any questions or doubts, you can ask me now. If not, if you want to check any of your favorite stock, we can check what is the plan for tomorrow. But then whenever you are suggesting your favorite stock, then please do mention whether you want to check it as per dynamic system level 2 trading method, or for investment purpose, or you want to check Dowmantic method or the dynamic superpower trading method. If you can give this clarity, accordingly I will check those details, and I'll give you the exact picture there. Mr. Prakash has asked for RIL Reliance. If you can tell me, Mr. Prakash, are you looking for Reliance in the Dowmantic method? Then accordingly, I'll guide you. Ms. Rajani has a question. SBI as per system, daily and weekly chart, does it confirm long-term buy? All right, so let me first check SBI. So let me close all these details of Bank Nifty and let me open the chart of SBI. All right, it is going up from a major pressure at the bottom. It has some good strength. It also has a monthly DMBOTS. No, the monthly DMBOTS is broken. So there is not much monthly pressure at the bottom. Weekly long trend is preparing for a buy, but it is yet to confirm. It will confirm only by the weekend. You know that. All right, so this is what is happening in SBI. As you can see here, it is going up from a major pressure at the bottom. So there is some good strength. And once this weekly long trend confirms a buy, obviously it would have definitely got into a long trend. Okay, sorry, long-term up direction. And even the monthly speed signal, if you see, it is somewhere at around 199. It is trading way above that. There is a small monthly caution on top. So when the weekly long trend gives you a buy, you have to be a bit cautious. Let me check what's happening in the mid signal here. The mid signal is at 260. Okay, so if the price, if weekly long trend gives a buy in SBI, and as long as the price of SBI trades above 199 throughout the month, it is going to be on the, it is going to try moving upward. It is definitely a long-term up direction. Starting at that point, you can get into a buying position, but then until it confirms, now you know that the weekly long trend buy will confirm only by the end of the week. So until it confirms, please don't get into the trade yet. So wait for it and then you can get it. But if it tries to come down below 199, you know that now what was the point where the weekly trend was there? The beginning of the week. It was at 207. Anyhow, 207 seems to be the crucial point here. If it manages to close below that by the end of the week, then a weekly trend edge point on top will take control and there are chances it can reverse. So this is about SBI, Ms. Rajani. Mr. Nishant also has a similar question, but then Mr. Nishant, weekly long trend is yet to confirm the buy. So before that, we cannot jump into any conclusion here for SBI. We have to wait. You know that. And Reliance, Mr. Prakash had asked for Reliance. I think he is asking about dynamic live, the Dowmantic method. Reliance, as you can see here, it is still telling us to hold the put option. It had told us to buy a put option somewhere at this point in time. And after buying, we did get a couple of opportunities to secure our profits. We have already done that. And it is still asking us to hold it. But remember, once the price manages to go below this low, that is when you will start seeing some good downward movement. But until then, there are chances it can do a lot of up and down movement because intraday 3, it is in sideways now, as it is very clearly visible. So you have to be a bit cautious. Any other questions or doubts? Let me check what's happening in Tata Motors. There is one gentleman who had asked me for Tata Motors for long-term investment purpose. There is nothing at the bottom here. All right, now this is getting interesting. There is a monthly DMBOTS at the bottom, so it has some good pressure at the bottom. Okay, weekly long trend has given us a buy. It has given us a buy, and what's happening in daily? So the speed signal has managed to give us a buy today, but with the DMBOTS on top. So the monthly speed signal is also preparing for a buy in the case of Tata Motors here. So it is definitely a long-term buy. There is no doubt about it. But once we buy on top, we have monthly speed trends coming up, which is at 185 level at this point. So once it reaches there, we have to be cautious. At least 50% profit booking is what we can plan for. But still, looking at Tata Motors, I feel I will look at the Tenkai signal as well. That is, I'll go check what's happening in Maruti, and based on that, I will think about taking a decision whether to invest in it or not. But definitely, if it crosses the this particular high now, which is 132.65, that was the point where it actually gave us a buy. It is definitely going to move up, and it is going to move up towards 185 ranges. Now, Mr. Nishant has a question. Yesterday, as per NAP, today works as per dynamic live level 3. Deepak NTR. No, I have not understood your question, Mr. Nishant. I'm not understood your question. All right, you mean to say Deepak NTR worked really good as per the yesterday's preparation that we did? Deepak NTR. All right, yes, in Deepak NTR, yes, we did discuss about securing profits. Now, after that, it has managed to open with a gap up, if I'm not wrong. But then later, intraday 3 speed signal has given a sell finally. All right. So, is there any other questions or doubts? If there is no doubts, then please text me saying that there are no doubts. I hope all your questions has been answered. Mr. Ramachandra Rao is asking, can we buy Apollo Hospital for intraday? All right. Let us check Apollo Hospital, what's happening there. Well, now let me zoom in a bit. If you're talking about intraday, Mr. Ramachandra, you can definitely think about doing it. There is no problem. It has some C5 straddle as well as a C1 weekly caution at the bottom with a intra-week long signal edge point and zigzag cautions in a row. So you can definitely do that. Uh, but if the price manages to go down, now until this intra-week long signal gives a sell, there are chances anytime the price can move up. Okay, so it is definitely a point wherein you can think about a buying, and for intraday in the stock. And Mr. Sampath Kumar wants to check Tata Steel as per the Domantic method. So this Tata Steel, you can see that the action is telling us stay tuned for the next trade, because there is a series of zigzag cautions appearing in intra-week, and we also have a zigzag caution in intraday 3. So since there is the zigzag cautions, there is no trade as of now. We have to wait. If the price manages to decrease further, then only once intra-week zigzag breakout happens, that is when it is going to tell you to buy a put option. But if not, if the price manages to go up, then there are chances you can get a opportunity to buy a call option as well. So this is what is happening in Tata Steel. All right, looks like there are no more doubts. So, gentlemen, thank you all for joining today's session. Wish you all a happy trading. Wish you all great success tomorrow in your trading. See you once again in the next session. Until then, good night to all of you. And thank you once again for joining this session.